This video shows how to configure Satel Integra system for use with C4. First, we need to connect to central panel through DLoadX configuration software using RS-232 connection. In DLoadX software, select Use COM port in Settings and correct identifiers for communication between DLoadX and Satel central panel. Now we can connect. DLoadX reads all the configuration data from the panel. To display configuration, choose System and Hardware Structure icon. In System Structure, you can see the zones and detectors, and in Hardware Structure it is possible to see all the connected expanders and keypads. C4 communicates with connected devices over IP network, and for the connection with C4 we must use INT-RS interface for system integration, which then connects to converter. Converter must be set up before use. It's possible to use Telnet for configuration or web interface. In Settings, specify an IP address, port and baud rate according to Satel integration manual. From converter, the communication is already done over IP network to the C4 server. In C4 client, we need to create configuration of Satel Integra control panel. First, we need to add Satel bus controller, which represents RS-232 to Ethernet converter, and also set correct IP address and port of the converter. Integra Security Central Unit represents Integra Control Panel. You can set password for connecting to Control Panel, set password prefix if used, and the administrated user range by C4. All other elements have to be created under the Central Unit. We can start by groups, which configuration can be found in the system structure using DLoadX software. Under each group, add sensors depending on real configuration. Sensors and their addresses can be read also from system structure in DLoadX software. Now we can add all the expanders, starting with the DOE expanders. Their configuration can be read from hardware structure in DLoadX software. Important thing is to know, in this case, the address is in hexadecimal format, and for use with C4, it has to be converted to decimal format. For example, DOE expander CA64SR has address 0CH, which means its address in C4 will be 12. Under DOE expanders, we can set the card readers. When we are done with the expanders, we can start with the keypads. Their addresses and configuration can be also read from hardware structure of the DLoadX software. Last thing to add to the configuration are the outputs. Their addresses can be found using DLoadX hardware structure option. When we are done with adding all the elements to the configuration, we can start the communication. Of course, if you have more than one Satel Integra system, you can create another one in C4 by simply creating another configuration. Before we run the communication, we must turn the statuses on to see real connection status. Communication can be started by simply choosing Run command. When starting the communication for the first time, persons and cards upload is done. We can visually check if all the elements in the configuration tree are connected, and to see if we have correct response from the panel, we can arm the group 1. After running the arm command, group icon status changes to green, and in the events tab we can check to see if an event was logged. After these final steps, Satel Integra Control Panel is fully manageable by C4, and we can start cards and codes configuration according to the C4 user manual.